the people out in the lobby, if you want to attend the second session, you have to come on in.
4 minutes to 10, the two men burst into the door of the bank, ran into the bank. They jumped over the counter and ordered everyone to hit the floor. 2 employees were shoved on the floor. Kim McDonald, an officer with the bank, tells us what happened once the people were shoved on the floor.
They kept shouting for them to stay down. They started grabbing the money out of the teller's money drawers. Then they leaped back over the teller windows and again shouting, "Stay down." And as soon as the tellers heard them go out the door, then they jumped up and set off the alarm and called the police.
How were these men armed?
One pistol was seen by one of the tellers.
Was anybody hurt?
No one was hurt, Norman, and at this point we do not know how much money was taken. Our auditors are currently counting the money. The police have finished fingerprinting the area, and so we should know in about 40 minutes.
Did anybody see how they left, whether they were on foot, in a truck, or a car?
I understand that they were seen by 2 telephone repairmen going across the road from the branch here.
How many customers were in the bank at the time?
There was only one customer, and that customer came in during the course of the robbery and was told to hit the floor, and he did. And he was on the outside of the teller windows, and everybody else was behind the teller windows.
At this point, state bloodhounds are in the area. They have been put on the ground, and there is a field sweep in southwest Montgomery at this particular time. There is a massive manhunt for 2 armed robbers who robbed this branch bank this morning at 4 minutes to 10. This is Norman Lumpkin, WSFA TV News in southwest Montgomery.
We're off.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, as soon as he gets back, run down and pull that switch and tell him. Fit the description of 2 of them.
That's 10-4. I need those photographs out here now as soon as possible. Nothing I can say at this time except that we got a pretty good description. You'll have a dozen teams. They can cover all these houses in this area right here.
We don't have any uniform people on the strike force.
You'll have coveralls and put badges outside where they can be identified in the neighborhood. I'll have 2 cars rolling that area out there too while you're on the ground.
Okay.
So just figure out what you're going to cover now streetwise with the 12 teams you're going to have.
It's just our people?
Now, this will be agents, FBI agents, strike and a detective division. We'll make sure that attics are
310, code 10.
cleared. Any basements are out here, probably be in storehouses, automobiles, the whole works.
We're going to try to split up. We'll just be on foot, and we'll probably get some cars going in the next section down here. We start here on Kingswood, got Upton Road, Bedford Way, all the way down, and then we got this other section down here that Greensboro, Greenleaf down here by the Pack-a-Sack.
Some police officials say that there is a possibility that the gunman may have taken some people in this community hostage, and they may still be in a house out here. Also, it is reported that tear gas canisters and some red dye were placed in the bags with the money. This is Norman Lumpkin, WSFA TV News in southwest Montgomery. Village West First Alabama Branch Bank here this morning at approximately 4 minutes to 10. The 2 men burst into the door of the bank, ran into the bank. They jumped over the counter and ordered everyone to hit the floor. 2 employees were shoved on the floor. Kim McDonald, an officer with the bank, tells us what happened once the people were shoved on the floor.
They kept shouting for them to stay down. They started grabbing the money out of the teller's money drawers. And then they leaped back over the teller windows and again shouting, "Stay down." And as soon as the tellers heard them go out the door, then they jumped up and set off the alarm and called the police.
How were these men armed?
One pistol was seen by one of the tellers.
Was anybody hurt?
No one was hurt, Norman, and at this point we do not know how much money was taken. Our auditors are currently counting the money. The police have finished fingerprinting the area, and so we should know in about 40 minutes.
Did anybody see how they left, whether they were on foot, in a truck, or a car?
I understand that they were seen by two telephone repairmen going across the road from the branch here.
How many customers were in the bank at the time?
There was only one customer, and that customer came in during the course of the robbery and was told to hit the floor, and he did. And he was on the outside of the telewindows, and everybody else was behind the telewindows.
At this point, state bloodhounds are in the area. They have been put on the ground, and there is a field sweep in southwest Montgomery at this particular time. There is a massive manhunt for two armed robbers who robbed this branch bank this morning at 4 minutes to 10. This is Norman Lumpkin, WSFA TV News in southwest Montgomery. This is a statement from the Montgomery Mayor's office, Mayor Jim Robinson. It reads, Mayor Jim Robinson has passed the polygraph test. He was examined today at the Malinowski Polygraph Service in Savannah, Georgia. The polygraph examiner was presented with a copy of the Advertiser Journal editorial dated February 20th, 1977, and was told to ask such questions as he determined necessary to address the allegations contained in that editorial. The questions selected by the examiner were, number one, did you ever deliberately cover up any aspect of the Whitehurst investigation? Number two, did any Montgomery attorney or investigator ever relate to you that any Montgomery police officer admitted they were guilty of a wrongdoing in the Whitehurst case? Question three, did you ever ask the Alabama Attorney General or the U.S. Attorney to prosecute District Attorney Jimmy Evans? According to this statement from the mayor's office, Mayor Jim Robinson has passed the polygraph test. He was examined today by the Malinowski Polygraph Service in Savannah, Georgia. The polygraph examiner was presented with a copy of the Advertiser Journal editorial dated February 20th, 1977, and was told to ask such questions as he determined necessary to address the allegations contained in that editorial. The questions selected by the examiner were, number one, did you ever deliberately cover up any aspect of the Whitehurst investigation? Number two, did any Montgomery attorney or investigator ever relate to you that any Montgomery police officer admitted they were guilty of wrongdoing in the Whitehurst case? Question three, did you ever ask the Alabama Attorney General or the U.S. Attorney to prosecute District Attorney James Evans? The mayor's answer to each question was no, according to the statement. It further says a written report has been presented to the mayor's office. It will be released tomorrow. We've been told that it took an hour and a half for the mayor to complete his polygraph exam. He started at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do believe that the mayor is expected back in Montgomery sometime tonight. This is Norman Lumpkin, WSFA TV News, City Hall.
Well, I regret seeing him leave. I've always been a supporter of his, and I thought he was a good man for the job, and I still believe that. But it's just a sad thing to me.
Well, I think it's a real sad thing. I think Mayor Robinson was a very honest man. I think he's about the best mayor we ever had here. From what I hear, I really don't know a whole lot about it, but I just wish he hadn't resigned.
Do you have any idea why he resigned?
From what I hear, it's just because he couldn't put up with the supposed, quote, lies that were being told about him in the newspaper.
Well, I was a little surprised.
Do you have any idea why he resigned?
No, I don't. I like him.
To me, he was the best mayor we had since I can remember.
Do you have any idea why he resigned?
No, I just have an idea. It may have something to do with Mr. Martin with the Advertiser, but I don't know if that's the case.
I don't think he should have resigned after he's proved innocent. That's about all.
What is your reaction to the mayor's resignation?
Well, I feel that somebody's been backing it all, and they've just taken it out on the officials, and they've just been the target of the whole thing. And I really don't feel that he should have resigned. I feel that he was doing a good job.
No, I was not aware of it.
What is your reaction to it?
I'm surprised. I want to know why. Why did he resign?
He said that the burden was too great for he and his immediate family.
What does that mean? He didn't realize his responsibilities before he took on the job or something? Really, I wish I knew the details. I'm going to have to find out the details before I can really comment on it, you know. But that sounds kind of funny.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him for the way he feels about what's happening, you know, to him and his family.
Are you saddened by it?
Yeah, I was shocked. And, you know, I didn't think it would happen, but I don't blame him for doing it.
Well, I thought it was pretty bad because I already know Jim Rouse. I met him at the airport once or twice. I'm just passing through town. But, like, he's a nice man. I don't think he did. Like, I don't think by the pressure people put on him, I think he should have just thrown them out of the way and something like that. Forget about what people thought about him and go ahead and do his job, something like that. Well, I think he's a nice man. He did a lot for the state of Alabama.
If he resigned, I feel like he's guilty of something else. That's my opinion. So he resigned to keep any further embarrassment, any further dealing with the law or involved with the law.
Well, I'm really shocked at something that I didn't expect. I admired Mayor Robinson. I thought he'd done a wonderful job. And so I'm just really hurt over.
My first reaction, other than sorrow and shock for what the mayor had to do, felt he had to do, I feel that the city of Montgomery has lost in this. The people in the city of Montgomery want good men and good women in positions of leadership, and yet we've witnessed a good man hounded out of office. My second reaction is, and it's hard to separate the two, but thank God that the city of Montgomery has a man that can step into the shoes of the mayor, step into the mayor's office, and by this I mean acting Mayor Falmer, and pick up and put the pieces back together and make sure that the city government continues to function.
And whenever Mr. Falmer read the statement, I was shocked by it. I was also hurt by it. The reasons for it is because I feel like that Jim Robinson has made us a good man. He's a good mayor. He was an honest mayor. He worked hard at his job, and he was proud to be the mayor of the city of Montgomery. The thing that distresses me most of all, a man has taken the steps to prove his innocence, and nobody really believes him. So somewhere, someday, somehow, somebody is going to have to admit that they were wrong and that they wronged Mayor Robinson and his family. And I just hope I'm around the day that they admit this.
First, Norman, I must say this is a regrettable thing for the city of Montgomery. Seems like we lose the good ones. I have much of his concern because of the fact that a man's going to protect himself and his family. I've learned that his wife, Dot, has been in the bed for the last 2 weeks, and she just can't take it. And naturally, a man's going to protect his family. I would do the same thing.
Those in the vicinity of Tuskegee's Lewis Adams School may have been in for a shock had they not been aware that the gruesome spectacle in the school courtyard was only an exercise. But even with prior knowledge of this fabricated disaster, a simulation of a school explosion and fire, double takes were in order because of the realistic-looking wounds covering the bodies of the school children. And realism is what Macon County civil defense officials wanted, to ensure that their emergency services are prepared for such disasters.
It's necessary to do this so that we can see that all people who are involved in this plan work as they're supposed to. We're going to have a critique after the plan so that we can get together and see where anything went wrong and correct it for future operations.
Who all is involved in this operation?
The police department, the fire department, the utilities, the ambulance service, and 3 hospitals.
I noticed the wounds on the children participating in this are awfully realistic.
We hope to be able to shake up the hospital people when they first see them.
None of this county's emergency services were aware of the time or place of this simulated disaster. And despite these circumstances, the preliminary word is that those who have the job of helping others in Macon County did well. From Macon County, Alabama, Bill Weaver, WSFA TV News.
And he was parked here, and at 3:25 this morning, the wind gust got up to 56 knots, which is pretty close to 70 miles an hour. And the aircraft was situated so that when the wind hit it, that it tended to swing the tail of the aircraft. And then that freed the airplane from the wheel chocks, and the wind just blew it into the terminal building here. And luckily, it hit on a concrete column, and that stopped the airplane, and it destroyed the column. It'll cost us about $1,000 to repair it. But as you can see, if he would have hit 5 feet either way, it could have been $20,000 or $30,000 worth of damage.
Lots of it. Here's James Polk.
The same multi-million-dollar operation that prints a sightseeing guide for tourists riding San Francisco's cable cars also runs factories producing metals and ammunition in South Korea, has stockholders in this Washington bank, owns real estate from coast to coast, and constantly adds to it. Sells flowers on the street to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. Thank you. And even has a government contract to clean the carpets. Not only in the office of this congressman, now under federal investigation, but also in an office of the agency investigating him, the FBI. This far-flung business is not a conglomerate. It is called a church. The Unification Church. Run by this man, the Reverend Sun Myung Moon. It is a rich religion. By estimate, Moon and his church are worth anywhere from $24 million to $60 million. Some of the money goes for outdoor rallies, like this extravaganza in Yankee Stadium, where Moon preached his message that Satan is taking over America. This rally was described as one of Moon's farewell appearances before leaving this country for Europe. But Moon did not leave. His home remains this estate at Tarrytown, New York, bought as a gift with money from his followers. The religion teaches that money is an unhappy thing unless it goes to Father, as Moon is called. Father has a yacht and a limousine, too. A church manual explains it this way. The limousine came by itself. Father never asked for it at all. The limousine came with a speed of 200 miles per hour and said if Father didn't receive it, it would kill him. So Father received it. This flow of millions began with something as simple as a flower, sold on the street by Moon's youthful followers.
Primarily through a...
Jeff Scales spent 5 years with Moon's church and became one of his trusted junior leaders.
And we would travel around the country selling fresh cut roses and carnations in a door-to-door, business-to-business type fashion. And even if we were questioned specifically, you sure this is not connected to the Unification Church, we would say, no, it has no connection at all.
Then you were lying.
Yeah, we were lying, yeah.
How much money did you raise a week just selling flowers with your team?
With my team, I'd say a conservative estimate would be about $10,000 a week profit.
On this foundation of flowers, a business was built. One church firm in San Francisco has a city contract to print guides for this art museum, as well as the official poll worker instructions for the mayor's election. Another church firm was the low bidder for a federal contract to clean carpets in government offices. For prosecutors, immigration officials, the Internal Revenue Service, and 2 congressmen. One of them, Robert Leggett, who is under investigation in the Korean scandals in Congress. The same Moon firm has the cleaning contract for the FBI offices in Stockton and Sacramento, California. Moon's church gets the money, not the workers. Scales was manager of this church-run delicatessen in Oakland, California.
People who worked there were paid salaries, and but the money from those salaries was filtered back into the group. When I would give them the paychecks, they would sign it over on the back, endorsing it, and I would collect the paychecks from all the employees and bring them across the street to our bank, and that money would be cashed in. And then I would take that money and give it to the director in the Bay Area of the Unification Church.
Moon's business now reaches from sea to sea. With this Manhattan hotel, the closest thing the church has to a temple. The hotel has been converted into a headquarters, where the church now puts out its own newspaper in New York. A tax investigation is underway, but the money still rolls in.
Oh.
The Moon religion teaches that money taken from the public will be counted in the hereafter as a ticket to salvation for those who gave, perhaps. But in this world, it is Moon and his church who are pocketing that price of admission. James Polk, NBC News.
The property, located directly southeast of the courthouse, has been purchased by the county for some $645,000. Future possibilities for this parcel were revealed to the public at an afternoon meeting at the courthouse. Architects contracted by the county currently have 4 concepts for the property's future use. First of all is a rectangular high-rise tower above multi-level parking decks. The 12-story building would contain 320,000 square feet and parking for 800 cars, along with a helicopter pad. The second concept calls for a square 5-story high-rise structure above multi-level parking decks. The main difference from the previous plan would be size and shape of the building. The third concept calls for 2 separate buildings, each 7 stories high, with 260,000 square feet of building. The last concept calls for the lot to be used as a temporary parking area, providing spaces for 250 vehicles. Commissioner McKinney, how does the county plan to finance such a venture?
Well, with federal funds and revenue sharing, plus for the immediate use of improving the land for parking, the one building alone, the revenue each year is $18,800 something few dollars.
This is a building that's already on the land?
That's already on the land. And we do not intend to tear down or anything until the contract is let in the future, or possibly 2 or 3 years, to build a new court facility.
Where are you going to go from here now?
Well, as soon as we finalize the sale, we're going to immediately contract with a firm to make a study of the courthouse proper, the existing courthouse, in order to utilize it with the architectural firm as the best possible use of this land acquisition that we just made.
How long do you think it'll be before something comes up on that piece of property?
Oh, I'd say 2, possibly 3 years, hopefully sooner, but I don't look realistically before that.
Have recent talks about consolidation of the city and county had any bearing on these plans?
No, but it frankly entered the back of my mind, the fragmentation of the city government and the county government, different facilities moving out of the courthouse, having to buy rent lands outside the area, of the courthouse and the downtown City Hall. Entered in the back of my mind, if it does come to pass at a city-county merger, then we'll have the proper facilities for it already intact. I intend personally to, like I stated previously, if we need 5 floors now, I hope the county commission will go as high as the land will let us go, and so we'll have plenty of space available for the future.
One part of the presentation that officials believe will please many, particularly preservationists, is the fact that the Carnegie Library and its property has not been included in the expansion plans. Architects say the land this piece of history occupies just doesn't have enough potential for the future. Bill Weaver, WSFA TV News, at the present site of the Montgomery County Courthouse.